Goodness comes and evil goes. Kimunga Ukombozi, Kimunga Ukombozi, Kimunga Ukombozi, divine liberty, divine liberation, divine freedom, and all that that will bring for African people wherever we happen to be on the face of this earth. Karibu, once again, and welcome. My name is Kwende, and today we're going to be discussing yet another important subject area, and that is the Living African Wisdom Guide, the Living African Wisdom Guide. Now, as has been already highlighted in previous videos, African people are the primary souls of creation, the first of humanity. That being so, African souls are the primary wisdom guides of the world. The principal wisdom guides of humanity. And that's an important and natural responsibility that African people hold. So what is a wisdom guide? What is such a phenomenon? The African wisdom guide is one who is versed with the African experience and can inspire, can inform, can motivate, can shape life in the living knowingness that they share. In other words, it's learning about our experience and pulling the strengths and wisdom from that experience, sharing it and applying it, so it becomes living knowingness. That is what a wisdom guide does, is to energize and make real living knowingness that benefits African souls of the world, that lifts African souls of the world, that energizes, motivates, and progresses the lives of African souls of the world in self-betterment, ascension, and all of those wonderful types of things. There are various levels of being a wisdom guide, and every single African soul is a wisdom guide in one way or another. So we may have roles that we participate in or bring to fruition in our life's journey. We may be a teacher, we may be a parent, we may be a leader, we may be an edutainer, or whatever other role that is engaged in during the course of one's life. What makes the role meaningful for African people and serves African people well is the wisdom knowingness, the living knowingness that is part of the wisdom guide function, that is made real in whatever the role happens to be. And that living knowingness comes from the learning about ourselves, the learning of our experience, so that history continuum is a fundamental and key, a vital source for the wisdom guide in us to be made real, to be brought to the fore for the benefit of African souls in whatever role we have throughout our lives. Now, void of the ability to be a wisdom guide in those roles or any other role, then the African soul is at a deficit. And that's putting it politely. Because the role then becomes a tool that is easily deployed, manipulated, or rendered in service of others, and ultimately then can work against the African. So living knowingness of self and the experience of self, for the wisdom guide to be made real, is key for African betterment, is key for African upliftment, is key for African ascension, and must come from activity that is independent of the institutions of others. So whatever we happen to be involved in for survival purposes, and certainly that's very true in this time and space that we happen to be in as we speak, whatever we have to do for survival, there is time to be carved out in a self-determined way for the African to nurture, cultivate, groom, shape knowingness for him and herself, for the benefit of African souls at large, wherever we happen to be in the world, whether we're on the continent of Africa itself, whether we're in the Americas, whether we're in the realms of Europe, further east of Africa, wherever in the world African souls are. It is important that African souls engage in living knowingness of self and bringing to fullest fruition the wisdom guide within. The wisdom guide that is a natural inheritance that has been with the African from the earliest of times. The natural genius flow is already there. That is a gift from the ultimate divine, the Creator Supreme. But there is certainly a need to nurture, groom, and shape that natural genius so it works in the best interest of African souls, so that it can be made manifest, so that it can materialize as the grand and magnificent wisdom guide that the African naturally is. And so it is time for restoration now. It is time to restore that wisdom-filled life. So seek out the knowledge of the African history continuum and make that knowledge at one with your life. So with that, food for thought, and surely it is food for thought. Until such time again, Kimunga Ukumbozi, Kimunga Ukumbozi, Kimunga Ukumbozi, divine liberty, divine liberation, divine freedom, and all that will bring for African people wherever we happen to be on the face of this earth.